I'd just like to start by welcoming you here today, and I'll say more about that in a minute. I suppose I should do some housekeeping announcements. There's two loos up here, and there's two loos at the top of the stairs, and the best way out is straight through the front door, and there's no fire alarms planned, and that's kind of the basic thing. Where the plan for today is just a very short, formal part to the day. I'm going to do a little bit of talking. We've got a couple of demonstrations just to show you outside, and then we're going to ask Mr. Swinney, the Deputy First Minister, to launch the app, and then we'll have a lunch, and very informal. So I say welcome to Mr. Swinney and to everybody here, and you're probably aware that working with all these yellow jackets and all these kind of things, there is a certain thing within the emergency services where no opportunity is lost to point out people's mistakes to one another, and to have a little mirth at this at certain times. Now, when that happens, when I say that, that means that something's going to happen. I'm going to say something now, and probably Jim Ward and Mike Saban are both, their pulse rates have probably gone up by about 80% at the minute. I'm thinking, what is he going to say now? But I just want to face this one straight on. Yes, I did get interviewed on Radio Scotland this morning, and I did call the guy Gary when his name was Ken. I'm afraid so. But he looked like, I thought he sounded like a Gary at the time, you know, so that's it. Anyway, that's it. So today I'd like to welcome you all. We haven't invited a lot of people. We'll come back to reasons for that in a minute. But what we really wanted to do was just to invite those who help and support us all the time and have moved this organisation forward. And that's really three organisations: Scottish Ambulance Service, the Sandpiper Trust, and NHS Education Scotland. So these are the only people we've invited to this app launch today. And of course, one of the main reasons for that, we did invite the Lottery Fund, but they couldn't make it today because of the election, but they have supplied the funding for this app, so I'd like to acknowledge that. The reason we didn't invite too many people today is that the premises are quite small, and any more people than that, and it would have got a bit uncomfortable. We're quite happy being a small organisation. We don't want to be a big organisation, but we feel that as a small organisation, we do have an important role to play in the health service in Scotland, and that is that we give a lot of support in both looking towards providing equipment, emotional support and educational support to rural and remote practitioners within Scotland. Although we've got a wonderful ambulance service, at times in these rural areas it takes a bit of time to get the facilities there, and in the meantime the local health professionals provide that support, and we need to support them to continue to do this. And over the years I have always believed, I love remote and rural Scotland. I spend a lot of my time in it personally, and I think it's really important that we support these practitioners, because if they're not confident in dealing with emergencies, they won't stay in remote and rural Scotland. It's a very important part of their work, and so I think, as well as the obvious benefits to patients from the point of view of patient care, it is important to support these from the point of view of recruitment and retention. We have got a lot of things going on, but we are, along with the Sandpiper Trust and Scottish Ambulance Service, hoping to launch a new project in Grampian called Sandpiper Wildcat, which is mentioned in the new Scottish Government out-of-hospital cardiac arrest strategy, where we're going to put an extra 100 defibrillators into Grampian in strategic places where we think that there would be added benefit and linked directly to Scottish Ambulance Service control. So that's quite an exciting project. So that's enough about what we've been doing. I just want to tell you a little bit now about the app, and then take you outside and show you one or two other things there. So this is the front page of the app. The thing about it is that most of the people that we're in contact with, this is not their day-to-day job. they're seeing patients in GP surgeries, they're checking their blood pressure, they're advising them on foreign travel, vaccination, and doing their antenatal care and all these kind of things. And then all of a sudden they get a call, and the next thing they're going out to a road traffic accident, or somebody who's fallen off a mountain or something like that. And it's important at these times, we know from the medical profession and the airline industry, the aid memoirs and checklists and things are very good in this kind of situation. So we started off to look at that. And we have within this app, as you'd expect, a whole list of protocols for dealing with all the major medical and trauma emergencies which you might well come across. And so here's things about anaphylaxis and things like that in there. And if you've got a lot of patients, there's a national triage protocol to use, and that's in there as well. And all the flowcharts from the recognised organisations, national organisations like the Resuscitation Council, etc., have been included in this app. What we've done throughout the years as we've developed as an organisation is that we are, as an organisation, dependent on a very large pool of volunteer instructors who give up generally their weekends to go out throughout Scotland and teach in courses. In fact, the van which you see outside and the cars outside is only returned on Monday night from Benbecula. With all these volunteer instructors, and many of them are doctors, you know what they say about doctors, where you've got 6 doctors, you've got 12 opinions. This happens. And we don't want people's opinion, we want a standardised teaching methodology. And so to try and standardise a bit more, we have produced in this building a lot of videos which we use as the basis for the teaching on the courses. And what we've done is we've put all these videos onto the app so that these people can refresh themselves as and when the opportunity arises. So, so there's a whole pile of videos on the app. This is another bit, this is a Gucci bit, but I kind of really like it. The Sandpiper bag, the Sandpiper Trust have given out more than 900 Sandpiper bags in Scotland. So 900 remote rural practitioners in Scotland have Sandpiper bags. There's a standard set of kit in it. But of course, once the kit's used, it has to be replaced, etc. So we've put in a checklist into this. But of course, these are GPs and nurses and paramedics, and they're doing loads of other things. And some of this stuff goes out of date. So when you put in your new piece of equipment, you add in the expiry date, and 2 weeks beforehand, your phone lets you know it's time to replace the equipment. Personally, I think that's very useful. Also, information has to be transferred about the patient to the hospital. So the guys from Polworth Medical, who are at the back here, and are smiling as I mentioned, who developed the app for us, along with Craig from our own offices. They've put in this system whereby we can record all the patient information with boxes and things onto the app, and then we can transfer this. It comes out in a summarised sheet, and that can be emailed to the receiving hospital, and it can be emailed to the patient's, not the patient's, the responder's own NHS secure server email address, so that they can have that for their records for later on. So that's it. The next bit's another Gucci bit, but I think it's probably quite good. All the hospitals with accident emergency departments have been put into a mapping device in the app. So you can put this in, press the relevant buttons on your screen, it will identify where you are at the time, and it will tell you where the nearest hospital is. There's a list of the hospitals as well, but this is somebody, as you can see, this is Perth here with the bypasses round about it, and here we are down here. So Craig has pressed the button on his app at the time, and it's told him how to get to Perth Royal Infirmary. Okay, so it's all done, and then there's a switchboard number, radio numbers, all these kind of things are all included in the app. So it's got a wealth of information in it, readily accessible by just picking up your mobile phone to do all this, and that's it. So that's the app that we're launching today. So what we're going to do now is just go outside, and we're just going to show you one of the other things which we've done with the help of the three organisations, Scottish Ambulance Service, Sandpiper Trust and NES, to develop other things for practitioners in remote and rural Scotland, which we think you'll be interested to see. So we'll have a quick walk outside.